just for fun, since we're in the Tim Burton zone, I'm going to bring up his filmography and we can go through it real fast.
Yeah, of course. Because, Mars Attacks was another
Mars
brilliant
Attacks.
one.
Yeah, let's
It
see.
was so good.
Because there was a period there where he was probably one of my favorite directors. And then there's a period there where I'm like, oh, okay, not so much anymore.
Yeah.
So Pee-wee's Big
I'm with
Adventure,
you. Pee-wee's
huge
amazing.
movie for my childhood. The show also,
I love the
obviously,
show.
and all of that, which I'll get into on a future episode. Beetlejuice, of course, what we're talking about here. Batman.
And Batman.
Obviously, I have a Funko Pop of the Michael Keaton Batman sitting like
Do you?
reach. Yes.
Oh my gosh, amazing.
Edward Scissorhands and Batman Returns, obviously.
Yeah. Which Catwoman, Michelle Pfeiffer, shout out.
So great. I'm hoping everybody as we're recording this, everyone's freaking out over Spider-Man No Way Home and the cameos and all that other stuff. And part of me is like, all I want is Michelle Pfeiffer for one scene in The Flash next year as Selena Kyle, just something.
Oh,
give that to me. You have Michael Keaton there. Clearly, she's still around in the world of those movies, Selena Kyle. So I want a Rise of Skywalker style flashback to the two of them in their heyday, like de-aged and all of that.
Oh,
I'm hoping.
Amazing.
Yes, I would love it. Batman's a huge part. Ed Wood, as we said.
I love Ed Wood. It's such a good movie. Honestly, very underrated Tim Burton one as well, because no one really talks about it.
Well, it doesn't feel like a Tim Burton movie. It's not. It's one of the only ones Danny Elfman didn't do the music for.
Well, that's true.
And it feels, I don't know. I think
it feels a little different, but I still personally love it. It's one of my favorite movies. And it's actually crazy. I have a poster of Ed Wood. And it's, again, right across from me, across from my room. And it's signed by Lisa Marie, who played Vampira, who was Tim Burton's ex-girlfriend.
Right.
My mom gave it to me.
It feels like it's his first brush with, I don't know, prestige filmmaking, if you want to call it that. It's like the first time him trying to be like, look, guys, I can dial down the quirkiness enough to get some Oscar nominations or something.
That's true. Well, it's like a mirror to Big Eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Which was
Big Eyes is another one.
Well done.
I thought Big Eyes was pretty good. I think Big Eyes is probably one of his better ones in the last few years, actually.
Oh, 100%. I agree with you on that.
Mars Attacks, you mentioned. Sleepy Hollow.
Yeah. Oh, Sleepy Hollow, my heart.
Sleepy Hollow, which at a certain point was at least annually like Halloween viewing for me, because that's such a fun movie.
Mm-hmm. It is. I love the aesthetics again, and Johnny Depp is again at his heyday at that point, really well done. And Christina Ricci can do no wrong in my eyes.
Which I think only further confuses people with the Addams Family thing. Yeah. Because she's in Sleepy Hollow.
She was in Sleepy Hollow, does it?
I know, but she walks between worlds. She's with Burton stuff. She works in Addams Family. Planet of the Apes, which at the time I liked, and then since been like,
I didn't like it.
I hadn't seen any of the Planet of the Apes movies at that point. I was just like, oh, cool, ape people, that's fun. And I think Tim Roth is still pretty fun in it as the villain. Mark Wahlberg is like a wet blanket in general for me.
Yeah. I don't know. I just did not like that movie. I was like, ooh, Tim Burton. And I was like, oh no.
No, Tim Burton, what have you done?
And I know he just did it to have access to another movie, I believe, that he wanted to do. And they're like, you have to.
I wonder if that was that Big Fish? Because I could see that being the trade-off.
I could see that being the trade-off too. I believe that might have been it, because it was roughly the same.
Yeah, that's his next
time. Because I know he had to do a blockbuster. So that, I believe Big Fish. And I love Big Fish.
I love Big Fish too. It's one of those movies that will make any man cry for sure, but most people generally, just because of the way it touches on family relationships and stuff. It is, yeah.
And again, he did a little more CGI in that one. In that movie in particular, there was a little more CGI than he had done before, which scared me, but it was done very tastefully, so I wasn't mad about it.
Mm-hmm.
But then you get into the realm of CGI Tim Burton, which I hate and I loathe entirely.
Speaking of which, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, which I like. The CG stuff does not work very well, but I I appreciate his take on the material, even if ultimately the original is a much better movie.
Yeah, the thing is, he wanted to make a movie closer to the book, which I agree,
Yeah.
it's closer to the book. However, and I will state this as many times to my grave, Tim Burton and CGI do not mix.
Mhm.
He doesn't know how to direct with it. It's never well done. He needs, and I don't know if it's more so him or if it's more so the production companies, the studios saying like, let's make it with CGI. But could you imagine Charlie and Chocolate Factory that he did with more practical effects, more puppetry, more shadow puppets even?
Yeah.
I could see
Yeah.
something happening with that.
No, I would love that. I think
It
that's
would have been
when, like you
better.
said, that's when he's at his best. It's funny that we're talking about Beetlejuice and Tim Burton because it makes me think of another person who we've already talked about on a different episode who's so good with practical effects, and that's Sam Raimi,
Yeah.
who is like that's his whole thing. Like obviously he did a lot of CG in the Spider-Man movies, and that works there because it's hard to do Spider-Man without CG. No human being can move that way
Yeah, no.
like Spider-Man is supposed to. So I get it. But the Evil Dead movies, I rewatched for no reason a few weeks ago Darkman, which I've done an episode
Mhm.
on a couple years ago, and I love that movie. And that is all makeup and stop motion and puppetry and things like that. It just works so much better. And
It does.
in the
I'm a diehard. I think CGI can be done tastefully to an extent,
right.
but not, I just don't like it.
Hmm. Yeah. And this movie, the Beetlejuice snake, that's always my go-to when people are like, "Oh, these stop motion effects, they look so dated." I'm like, "Who cares? It looks awesome." And
I
the
know.
Beetlejuice snake is always one of my go-to examples of it. That shit's
Yeah.
scary. The sandworm, everything happening in the waiting room or in the afterlife, the Maitland's transformations,
Oh my
when
god,
they're
even
trying
Beetlejuice's shrinking head,
yeah,
like,
all of that.
I love
So
it.
good.
Oh yeah, that snake though, you're right. That
Scary.
no, it was spooky.
I was wrapping up the Tim Burton filmography thing because now we're like 2/3 of the way into it. Corpse Bride, I like, but it's if it's in the shadow of Nightmare Before Christmas, it's no contest for
Uh,
me.
I yeah, I agree with you, but I did like it a lot,
Yeah.
and I appreciate another stop motion picture, you know?
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely. Like I will always be down for stop motion generally.
Yeah.
Sweeney Todd, I like a lot actually.
I like it
I
a lot. The CGI effects I could do without.
the CG blood, there's a lot of that. Yeah.
I know, and I'm just like, mixed chocolate syrup.
It's not that hard.
It's really not that hard.
And then we get into the period where I feel like most Burton heads are like, oh boy, Alice in Wonderland, Dark Shadows, Frankenweenie, I think is okay.
Frank
Big
and
Eyes,
Weenie
like we
was
said.
good. I liked Big Eyes a whole lot. A lot of people are like, "I'm so surprised you didn't like Alice in Wonderland." And I was like, "Why? Why would I like a CGI world?"
It's literally, and it's the same trap that, are fittingly enough, that Raimi got stuck in with Oz the Great and Powerful. Where
Yeah,
just like Disney's like, can you, who knows how to use practical effects? Can you just direct a bunch of green screen? And they're like, I guess. How much are you giving me? Sure.
exactly. That's what it felt like. And
Yeah.
I'm sorry, like, I know it's Tim Burton's filmography, but Johnny Depp is like it's a poor man's Jack Sparrow that's trying to be Scottish at times, Mad Hatter, and I hated it. I I loathe it. I hated it, and my friends were surprised. They're like, "I think you would like." I was like, "Why? Why would I like that? That's not Tim Burton to me. Like
Right.
that is just it's just Tim Burton going, I'll do it for a paycheck." Yeah,
Pretty
100%.
much.
Oh,
I I thought Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children had promise, but I was honestly bored when I saw it in
I
theaters.
didn't even see it.
Yeah, see?
I didn't even see it. I saw the trailer and I was like, it's gonna feel like Alice in Wonderland to me, and I just don't wanna deal
Mhm.
with it.
It feels like a movie made by someone trying to be Tim Burton, but it's actually made by Tim Burton,
Right.
which is weird. And then Dumbo was fine. It's whatever. The live action
See
Disney
it, to
things
be
are
honest.
pretty. You're not missing a lot. That says a lot
I
about your
know,
like Tim Burton was huge. Yeah, I didn't see his last two movies. I'm like, yeah, you're not missing a lot. It's